Make no mistake, democracy is on the ballot for all of us. We must remember that democracy is a covenant. We need to start looking out for each other again, seeing ourselves as we the people, not as entrenched enemies.
President Biden speaking Wednesday night in Washington about the importance of democracy and expressing concerns about political violence after the events of January 6th and also the attack last month on Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. Just days away from the midterms now, let's bring in our panel to talk about all of it here today. With us here in studio, we have former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, and 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, along with former communications director for the Indiana Democrats, Jennifer Wagner-Chartier, and former GOP lawmaker Mike Murphy. Jennifer, I'll start with you here and your thoughts on what the president said there about the state of our democracy this year ahead of the midterm elections.
I think he couldn't be more right. We're at a very dangerous place in American history, but we have the ability to change that moving forward. At that same time, I think we're topsy-turvy. There was an Axios poll that came out late last week that showed 44% of Americans, including plenty of Democrats, think there is a secret cabal running our federal government. At the same time, 59% of respondents said our democracy is strong. So how do we come back from that? I think it starts on Tuesday by voting common sense folks into office. Mike,
what's your response to that? And do any of these speeches about democracy move the needle at all with any voters?
No, they don't, because they're first of all, President Biden, I'm sure, is a nice guy, but this is too little, too late. He has a 41% approval rating. Nobody really cares what he has to say at this point. So other than that, I would say we're also way too tribal for anybody to make much of a difference right now. This is going to take years to recover from because it took years to happen.
In the meantime, former President Trump potentially considering another run for president that he's reportedly set to announce perhaps right after the midterms. Tony, what are you expecting Tuesday night? Do you think we'll see a red wave that you and others in your party have been hoping for?
I really do, and it's been building here over the last month. I mean, it's been going on for really 2 years. I mean, you can't demolish the country like the Biden administration has done and not expect some ramifications, and those are coming Tuesday. We didn't show the clip, but that speech was very angry and very divisive, and this is from the guy that said he was going to bring back unity. Hasn't done it. There was another speech in Philadelphia at Independence Hall a couple months ago, same kind of rhetoric. And when your
with different lighting.
Yeah, with really
different
scary,
lighting than the
scary red light. When Mike's point as to his numbers being so low, this was the best thing for Republicans going into the final few days because it's a reminder that inflation is so bad, the economy is so bad, crime is so bad, and that's going to lead to this red wave.
Robin, what's your response to that? What are your expectations?
I'm glad Donald Trump's telling people he's going to run. He's a divider in chief. He's going to motivate our voters to get out, and he's stamped all over your message. I mean, you got 3 or 4 days before the election, actually 2 now, and now he's announcing on November 14th he's going to announce. What does that do for your Senate candidates, your House candidates, except give us the opportunity to say, look who's coming down the line, folks, and look who he endorsed. So I think it benefits us.
We'll see what happens in all of those congressional races. Really, the first district, perhaps the only race that we're looking at that might be close in Indiana, potentially. We're also really closely following that race for Secretary of State. Destiny Wells issued a statement this past week in support of the president's remarks on democracy. Then the next day, this reporting came out from the Indy Star on Diego Morales and his residency in 2018 when he ran for Congress. Just the latest controversy in that race. What do you make of this and what it means for his campaign?
I don't know how many times I've sat at this desk and said Diego Morales is a train wreck of a candidate, but this will be the last time I have to do it. It's not good. He voted in a place that he wasn't living. He got a financial benefit from the residence he has here in Marion County, but that adds to a long litany of negative things that he has said or done or actions he has taken. Please, for the love of God, vote for Destiny Wells on Tuesday.
So, Mike, your response to that, as Larry Sabato's crystal ball, by the way, now lists the Secretary of State's race here in Indiana as a toss-up.
Yeah, and it probably is a toss-up, but 2 things. One, I had always wondered whatever happened to Evan Bayh, and I figured it out. He is Diego's political consultant, so especially on residency, so we know where Evan Bayh is at least. But, I don't know if he's committed a crime or not. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not smart enough to know. But I can tell you that Prosecutor Carrasco I don't think will prosecute him.
Well, of course, she's up against Ryan Mears. You're hoping she can pull off the upset there. A lot of money coming into that campaign late. Guys, what else are you watching for on Tuesday night? Robin, whether it's the SOS race or others here
I
on
thought the
ballot.
soap operas came on during the week. I mean, with Diego, we're on every Sunday talking about this guy. I mean, look, the bottom line is that if he gets elected, here comes Charlie White all over again. He'll be disqualified, and then a Republican governor who will appoint who he wanted to be if they win. Let's stop that by electing Destiny Wells, someone who lives where they vote, someone who served our country the way they said they did, and someone who's going to bring democracy back to the ballot.
Tony, is this going to be an issue for voters?
Well, my point is this. In 2016, President Trump won, first time he was running for president, by 20 points. That pulled up Todd Young when he was running for Congress. I think he won by 10. It pulled up Eric Holcomb, who was running for governor. He won by 7. A lot of folks thought he might lose. The polls showed that that race wasn't going to be so close. I predicted it was going to be a 20-point win, and it was. I see Todd Young winning by, I said, at least 16, probably more, closer to 20. And that's going to, like I said, raise
Lift
all
everybody
ships.
else, you
Yeah,
think?
it really is. The other thing I'm looking at is the grassroots Republican organizations like First Principles Forum, Front Porch Patriots that are really involved in school board races. A lot of legislators
We'll see how those
supporting
school
school
board
board
races
races.
shake out. That's something
Those folks are
a lot
from
of
the
people are
grassroots
watching.
going to lift
Yeah.
all Republicans up.
Any
as well.
other big predictions or races you all are watching for this week?
No.
Tony's out there predicting numbers
I know,
and margins.
I'm not making any bets with Tony, not till election night. No, I think Secretary of State is the race to watch.
Mike?
It has to be the first district congressional race. Republicans historically have left that race alone because we have to let some Democrats be in Congress, number one. And number two, they like Visclosky. He worked well with Mitch Daniels. He worked well with Republican governors. But now you got Mervan, who's a separate kind of guy, and I think we have a really strong Republican candidate in Ruth Green.
Democrats vulnerable there in that race?
I think that, the 56-40 last time election did get people woke up. She spent more money than sense in that race, but I still think Frank Mervan wins. What is intriguing, Dan, is there's 51,000 new registered voters in the state. 31,000 of them are females. I think we're going to see that come to fruition on election night.
We'll see how it all shakes out on election night. They'll be with us to talk about it all on Tuesday night. And they'll be back here later in the program as well with this week's winners and losers. Coming up next, the Attorney General now facing a lawsuit from an Indiana doctor with the state Supreme Court set to take up the issue of abortion next year. Stick around, we're back after this.